U.S.-led coalition airstrikes accidentally killed and wounded dozens of Syrian soldiers. The bombing prompted Russia to call an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council last night. The U.S. is expressing regret over the incident. Central Command says they were after ISIS targets at the time. CNN's global affairs correspondent Elise Labott joining me now with more on this. So you had an exclusive interview with Secretary of State John Kerry. How does he explain all of this?
Well, you know, you heard Samantha Power, the U.S. ambassador to the UN last night. She was calling this a stunt. She was pulling no punches. And then Russia came back and said, this is a ploy to end the ceasefire and end cooperation. And I asked Secretary Kerry about that, and he seemed to say that's a very cynical view of looking at it, and called on the Russians, really said it was really the Russians to blame. Take a listen.
The biggest judgment they need to make is to stop Assad from bombing people indiscriminately, which he continues to do. And if you are serious about having a ceasefire, and they say they are, then they should keep Assad from flying right now and prove their sincerity about a ceasefire. But to allow Assad, who is a spoiler, he doesn't want a ceasefire, to allow him to continue to go after opposition, pretending that they are Nusra, is in and of itself a huge challenge to this effort. So we call on Russia to stop the grandstanding, stop the showboating, and get the humanitarian assistance going. It is now Sunday morning.
That's right.
This started Monday night of this past week, and the humanitarian assistance is supposed to be flowing. The regime, once again, is blocking it. So Russia's client, Russia's supported friend, is the single biggest blockade to the ability to move forward here. And the opposition feels threatened because the bombs continue, even as there is supposed to be a cessation of hostilities. So let me just say this clearly. Russia signed up to a cessation of hostilities. Assad said he would live by it. Then he needs to stop and let the Joint Implementation Center get set up so Russia and the United States can coordinate in order to avoid the kind of terrible thing that happened yesterday, which we all acknowledge and regret,